All right, so I am back with another video on how to use sine, cosine, and tangent properly. I have listed in other videos of when you should figure out how to figure out whether you should use SOHCAHTOA or TOA, and I've also put it in the top right over there. But today I will be teaching you how to use tan in an example. So what we know here is that we're trying to find this degree. Camera doesn't pick it up very well, so I'll just make it a little bigger. There you go. So we know that this is the hypotenuse, this is the opposite angle, and this is the adjacent. So what two numbers do we have? We have the adjacent number and the opposite number, which means if we're using SOHCAHTOA, then we know that this has a hypotenuse and this has an hypotenuse, so both of these aren't going to work, and that leaves us with tan and adjacent. Let me just remove that. So now we know that it is TOA, or using tan, and here we know, since it is tan opposite adjacent, we know it will be tan, and since we're trying to find a degrees, so if we're trying to find a side, it would just be tan, but since we're trying to find the degrees, it is tan minus 1 opposite over adjacent, and that will equal our question mark. So if we do that math here, we know that tan minus 1 over 9 equals, we just put that down, pick this up. So here we know that, so to do this, it is not, to get tan minus 1, it is not actually tan x1, x to the power of negative 1, because that will just put it inside the bracket and won't work. So if you have a calculator like this, you will have to press second tan, and that will give you the tan minus 1 on the outside, which will allow you to find the degrees properly. So we know it's tan minus 1, 9 over 11. And you don't need to close the bracket, but I just do. And this is 38. You can't really see it, but it is 39.289 ... degrees. So if we're trying to round to the nearest tenth, I'll just move that out of the light so it's easier. There you go. We know that it is 39.289 degrees equals question mark. And 39.289, if we're trying to round to the nearest tenth, this rounds up. So 39.3 degrees equals question mark. And if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, you should put that it equals whatever variable it's asking for up there. Sometimes they'll be like, solve for A, and you have to solve for A there. So when you do this, make sure to say equals whatever. If you want to figure out when to use SOHCAHTOA and TOA, then check the other video in the description where I go into detail on how to use these. And if you want to see examples, I also link those in the description below.